Hello everyone, it's Sultan here. And in this video, we are going to talk about our sales copy or sales message. What are we going to do about that? We are going to discuss how to write it. It's very important that we are very strategic and concise about how we approach this, because this will ultimately make or break your outreach process. So the better off we start with this, the better the chances we actually book meetings and close deals. So what do you want to cover? Just a few points that are extremely important when we are putting together our message. First would be to keep our communication as brief and concise as possible. So when you send a message, whether on LinkedIn or email, you have just a few seconds to capture the attention of your prospect. So it's very important that your email is short and to the point. Now, the second point is to use a personal opening line. So instead of starting an email with a very generic, I hope this finds you well, or I hope you're having a good day, what you want to do is try to come up with something more personal that directly relates to the subject matter. So personally, I like to use information that is unique to the prospect, using their job title, the company they work at, which we'll show you in a few examples in a few minutes here. Now, the third point is to identify the purpose of your email. So you need to clearly state the reason for your email in the opening paragraph. This will help the prospect understand the purpose of your message and decide whether to continue reading. So if you've done a good job at clearly stating why you are reaching out to them, and hopefully that they have a need for what you are promoting, then that increases your chances to getting a reply. All right, now the fourth point is explain how you can help them. So you've identified, hopefully you've done your prospecting correctly, you know exactly your ideal customer profile, you know their pain points, what they struggle with, and so on. So what you want to do is explain how you can help them through your product or service, right? So what are the benefits of your product or service? What is your value proposition in relation to what their pain could be? All right. By identifying clearly what you can help them with, that also increases your chances to getting a reply or booking a meeting. And then finally, you need to end, and this is extremely important, is you need to end your message with a call to action, right? So you need a clear-cut next step, which, in my opinion, in the B2B space, if you are a tech company or a software provider, what you want to be doing next is booking a meeting to introduce your company, introduce your value proposition, pitch your product or service, or maybe demo your solution. And this will help you schedule more meetings when the prospect clearly knows what he's signing up for. All right, so enough about theory here. Let's actually see this in practice. I'll open up some examples of messages that we use for ourselves as a company, the lead generation company, Division 50, for ourselves and for our clients. So let's look at a few LinkedIn templates. So let's choose, I personally like using bullet points. So let's look at option 3. It makes it easier for the person you're messaging to clearly see what you can help them with, right? So we start with, of course, using their name, and we tell them why we're reaching out. We're reaching out to sales professionals on LinkedIn to introduce our company. And then we clearly tell them that we work with organizations like themselves globally to help them schedule and book more meetings and ultimately close more deals. Now, next, we tell them how we do that, right? Through utilizing research and intelligence for optimum prospecting, using cutting-edge tools to automate and scale outreach efforts. And then third, making use of leading analytics and reporting for best results. So basically A/B testing, right? So that would be a first message. Now, a follow-up message would be, and I always advise, and we'll touch on this, of course, once we start using the automation tools, to have a cadence or a sequence of emails. Never send one email and give up, or two. So my advice is to have a minimum of 3 touch points, all right? You can go as high as 7, which increases your conversion rate. Now, a follow-up meeting could be something like this, where you're just following up on your last message. Always be clear cut. Don't beat around the bush. Don't lie to yourself or to them. You're trying to sell them something. You're following up on your last message. And you follow up one time, you follow up 2 times until hopefully they get back to you and book a meeting. Now, same logic applies to sending an email. This is an example of a sequence. So the first one, the subject line is very, very important. You want to be clear with what you want to achieve here. So what I want to do is have a quick call, our company, Division 50, and then you select the name of their company. And then you start by something more personal, using their first name. You've noticed their job title at X company and you wanted to reach out to introduce your company. And then you tell them that, again, like the LinkedIn message, just here on email, that you work with organizations like themselves to help them clear cut, generate qualified leads, book more meetings, how you do it. And then at the end, your call to action, I'd like to invite you or a colleague for a quick call. It's very clear to understand what you're trying to achieve here. Nobody's left lost. Why is this person messaging me? Now, again, you have multiple options here, but to continue the sequence, you have your second email, you're following up on your last email, you're sharing a little more valuable information on what outreach methods we use at Division 50, which is LinkedIn, email outreach, and cold calling. Again, your call to action prompting them to book a meeting or a demo. So here you just drop your calendar invite for them to select the time slot that works for them. Again, you follow up, and I cannot emphasize enough on following up. Usually from my experience, I tend to find the sweet spot at the 3rd or 4th email where I actually get a response. So make sure that you have at least 3 to 4 emails in your sequence. And by now I think you get the idea. Of course, we have a ton of material that we can share with you to help you get started, templates that you can build off rather than starting from scratch. So that's it for today's video. I hope it was valuable, and I will see you on the next one.